Watch out, Link.
Roberto! I feel like a gay rooster. I want to hear that stuff from them. What? Ain't got nothing as good as this, man. Ain't got nothing as good as this. Get out!
It's getting it.
Oh, yeah, jerkin song. Jerkin is what it is, a lot. Look at their face, Toto.
Getting their feed.
What the hell? We got Indians, black people, Mexicans doing the jerk in our house. You think they would see that? Damn, we got hate. That's how we do it. Well, here, what's happening? What's happening on my...
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
You gonna get from behind me with that bull.
What you mean? What you gonna do with that little jit did on that Snoop Dogg video?
What?
That shit hit a flip, came out something shit.
Link, that's just a lot of that crump going crump in it.
Link, go in there. Link, do it. Shelly, go in there.
Don't put me on the YouTube. Shelly, go and shake the booty. Y'all wanna be in my video?
I ain't putting this on YouTube.
Why?
I don't know.
Come on, Link, shake that booty.
How to do it? Take your hood off, man. Take your hood off. Hold on. You got drop it. Hold on.
Come on,
No, you don't do it on there. Oh.
Hold it, Link. There you go.
No. Hey, Junior about to get stuck in his mouth. Hey, you look at mad boy. Hey.
Oh, look at Jerry.
Oh.
The music turned off. Hey, what happened? You a horse?
Yeah. Yeah. We be on the track. I don't get it.
Put it over here, bro.
Drop it.